But I'm going to answer this question by saying Shedeur Sanders. And I'm going to tell you why. I think he's being set up to fail. There's been 11 practices, if I remember correctly. He's been starting against he's been playing against the third unit. He's fourth on the depth chart. And then suddenly you throw him into the start lineup and he hasn't had any reps with the first team at all. If he had first team snaps in practice, I don't say that. But he doesn't. And then all of a sudden he's starting tomorrow night. It's like you want him to pick. I didn't have anything to do with it. I mean, that wasn't me. That was GM Barry. That wasn't me. The owner sitting up there. It wasn't me. Wasn't me. Yo. Wasn't me. That's what he was saying. And I'm saying, really? That's what we're doing now? That's what you're doing? You're trying to disassociate yourself from a quarterback that's on your roster at this particular moment in time. You give him no first team reps. He's been working out with the third team, and then you're just going to throw him in there. And on top of it all, you haven't exposed him to any first team reps. And then the first time he's going to see anything comparable to that is in his first ever preseason game. I'm just saying that looks very suspicious. I want him to fail. I hope he doesn't. I don't believe he will. And I do believe the opportunity is incredible for him.
Speaking to the city of Cleveland as if to say, don't blame me for this one. That is the man that gave Deshaun Watson guaranteed $230 million, which right now is going down as arguably the worst trade in NFL history.
That doesn't mean he's not going to play in the preseason. He is, but he's not getting the reps in practice. So what really is happening is he's going to have to be like spectacular in the preseason games, okay? Because he's not getting the reps right now to practice the things he's going to do in the preseason. If you don't have someone who's strongly advocating for you, don't tell me that the NFL is just a meritocracy and the best players play. BS. It's not the case. Okay, I've seen players. I've been in personnel meetings where people are getting killed who coaches just don't want. And they may be better than the people who are playing ahead of them. I've seen it happen.
11 practices. 0 first team reps, 4th on the depth chart. Then 11 of 18 for 103 yards and 2 touchdowns in his NFL debut. If you think Shedeur Sanders just had a good preseason game, you're missing the biggest scandal in professional sports. What happened in Charlotte wasn't just a rookie proving doubters wrong. It was the complete exposure of a rigged system that the NFL desperately doesn't want you to understand. I'm about to show you how one 5th-round pick accidentally revealed that everything you believe about NFL meritocracy is a lie. The NFL sells you a beautiful story. The best players rise to the top through hard work and talent. Draft position reflects ability. Practice performance determines playing time. Merit wins. But Shedeur Sanders just shattered that fairy tale in the most public way possible. When Stephen A. Smith declared that Sanders was being set up to fail, he wasn't just defending a rookie, he was accidentally exposing the NFL's dirty secret. Tonight, we're going to dissect exactly how the league's evaluation system is designed to maintain control, not identify talent. And how one quarterback's success in impossible circumstances proves that everything you've been told about professional football is carefully constructed propaganda. Let's start with the numbers that don't add up. Shedeur Sanders, 5th round, 144th overall pick. Not 1st round. Not even 2nd or 3rd. According to NFL logic, 143 players were more valuable than him. But here's where the system reveals its true nature. It's not about evaluation, it's about control. Lewis Riddick, former NFL executive, accidentally told you the truth. Players drafted this low typically don't make it to the first team unless they have someone fighting for them. Did you catch that? Unless they have someone fighting for them. Not unless they're talented. Not unless they perform. Unless they have political protection. The Browns gave Shedeur exactly 11 practices with the 3rd string unit. 11! While Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel got first-team reps before their hamstring injuries, Sanders was systematically isolated from the players he'd actually need to build chemistry with. This isn't development, it's sabotage disguised as process. But here's the beautiful irony. When injuries forced their hand, they had to start him. And what happened? 11 of 18, 103 yards, 2 touchdowns, plus 19 rushing yards. In his first NFL action, with players he'd never practiced with, against a defense that had been preparing for weeks. Stephen A. Smith called it perfectly. You give him no first-team reps. He's been working out with the third team, and then you're just going to throw him in there. This wasn't incompetence. It was the system working exactly as designed. Create impossible conditions, then use the predictable failure to justify the original evaluation. Except Shedeur didn't fail. And that's when the real panic started. Jimmy Haslam's response to Shedeur's success was more revealing than any scouting report. That wasn't me. That was GM. That wasn't me. 5 times he said wasn't me when asked about the Sanders pick. The owner of an NFL franchise publicly distancing himself from a player on his own roster. But let's examine what Haslam was really doing. This is the same man who guaranteed Deshaun Watson $230 million, a deal Stephen A. Smith correctly identified as arguably the worst trade in NFL history. Haslam's track record on quarterback evaluation is catastrophic. So when a 5th-round rookie outperforms expectations, why wouldn't he want credit? Because Shedeur's success exposes Haslam's failures. Every touchdown pass Sanders threw was evidence that the Browns' evaluation system missed obvious talent. Every accurate throw was proof that their draft board was wrong. Every moment of poise under pressure demonstrated that their development program was unnecessary. Haslam's deflection wasn't about avoiding blame for a bad pick. It was about avoiding credit for accidentally getting something right. Because if Shedeur Sanders can perform at this level with zero support, what does that say about every other quarterback decision this organization has made? The owner's panic response revealed the truth. NFL franchises aren't trying to find the best players. They're trying to maintain the illusion that their expensive evaluation systems work. Shedeur's immediate success threatened that illusion, so Haslam had to distance himself before anyone started asking uncomfortable questions about why this talent was available in the 5th round. Here's where the system's true nature becomes undeniable. In 11 practices, Shedeur Sanders received 0 meaningful reps with the first-team offense. 0. While the Browns were evaluating their quarterback room, they systematically prevented their 5th-round pick from demonstrating his abilities with NFL-caliber talent around him. This isn't standard operating procedure, it's strategic suppression. Lewis Riddick explained the reality. He's not getting the reps in practice. So what really is happening is he's going to have to be like spectacular in the preseason games because he's not getting the reps right now to practice the things he's going to do in the preseason. Think about that logic. Deny a player the resources to succeed, then demand spectacular performance to justify giving him those resources. It's a perfect catch-22 that ensures the existing hierarchy remains undisturbed. But Shedeur broke the system. His first scoring drive was a 7-yard touchdown pass that required precise timing and ball placement. His second touchdown was a 12-yard strike to Caden Davis that demonstrated red zone command. Between those scores, he delivered a 30-yard rainbow to Lake Floria that showcased arm talent and accuracy under pressure. These weren't lucky throws or garbage time statistics. This was sustained execution across multiple series, with receivers he'd barely practiced with, running plays he'd only rehearsed with third-stringers. The fact that he succeeded under these conditions doesn't prove he's talented, it proves the practice rep system is designed to prevent talent from emerging. When coaches control who gets meaningful reps, they control who succeeds. When they control who succeeds, they control the narrative about their own evaluation abilities. Shedeur's performance shattered that control, which is why the response was so panicked and defensive. The moment Shedeur's first touchdown hit the scoreboard, the narrative warfare began. Deion Sanders posted, "Yes. Oh yes," followed by "Oh yeah, what now?" Hashtag Coach Prime. LeBron James praised Shedeur's composure. The internet exploded with highlight clips and reaction videos. But watch how quickly the establishment tried to minimize the achievement. It's only preseason became the immediate deflection. The same people who would have crucified Sanders for poor performance suddenly decided August games don't matter when he succeeded. Stephen A. Smith identified this double standard perfectly. If he'd stunk, would the timelines be quiet or would they be dancing? Exactly. The media machine is designed to amplify failure and minimize success for players who threaten the established order. Consider the framing of Sanders' opportunity. Instead of celebrating a young quarterback's breakthrough performance, the narrative became about whether he was set up to fail. This subtle shift moved the conversation away from his actual performance and toward the system's intentions. Even positive coverage was filtered through the lens of institutional dysfunction. The real manipulation was more sophisticated. By focusing on the setup for failure angle, media coverage actually reinforced the idea that Sanders needed special protection or consideration. This framing suggested he wasn't succeeding on merit alone, but despite systematic disadvantages, which paradoxically validated the system that created those disadvantages. Meanwhile, his actual performance metrics told a different story. 61% completion percentage. 2 touchdown passes with perfect ball placement. 0 interceptions. Effective scrambling when protection broke down. These numbers didn't need context or explanation, they spoke for themselves. But the NFL's media ecosystem can't allow performance to speak for itself, because that would expose how many evaluation decisions are based on factors other than ability. So they buried the statistics under layers of narrative complexity, ensuring that Sanders' success became a story about everything except his quarterbacking. Shedeur Sanders' debut revealed the NFL's most carefully guarded secret: the league doesn't want to find hidden talent. It wants to validate existing investments and maintain predictable hierarchies. Every unexpected success threatens the credibility of expensive scouting departments, coaching staffs, and front office executives. Look at the pattern. Sanders was drafted 144th overall despite obvious arm talent, mobility, and football intelligence. He was relegated to 13 reps despite outperforming expectations in practice. He was thrust into a starting role only because injuries forced the decision. At every step, the system worked to minimize his opportunities while maintaining plausible deniability. Lewis Riddick exposed the truth about NFL meritocracy. Don't tell me that the NFL is just a meritocracy and the best players play. BS. It's not the case. I've seen players getting killed who coaches just don't want, and they may be better than the people who are playing ahead of them. This isn't incompetence, it's design. When talent evaluation becomes subjective, it becomes controllable. When development opportunities are rationed, they become political tools. When performance is filtered through narrative frameworks, it becomes manageable. Shedeur's 103 yards and 2 touchdowns in his first NFL action represent more than individual success, they represent systematic failure. Every accurate throw was evidence that the evaluation process missed obvious ability. Every poised decision under pressure proved that the development timeline was artificially extended. Every moment of command in the huddle demonstrated that readiness had been deliberately ignored. The panic in Jimmy Haslam's voice when he repeatedly said "wasn't me" wasn't about avoiding blame for a bad pick. It was about avoiding responsibility for a system that consistently fails to identify talent. Because if a 5th-round rookie can perform at this level immediately, what does that say about every first-round quarterback who struggled? The NFL's talent suppression model works by creating artificial scarcity. Limit opportunities, control narratives, and maintain the illusion that success is rare and unpredictable. But Shedeur Sanders proved that talent will emerge despite systematic obstacles, and that's the most dangerous truth the league faces. Shedeur Sanders didn't just have a good preseason game in Charlotte. He accidentally exposed the biggest lie in professional sports, that the NFL is a meritocracy where talent rises to the top. His 11 of 18 performance with 0 first-team reps proved that the evaluation system is designed to control outcomes, not identify ability. Jimmy Haslam's desperate deflection, Stephen A. Smith's setup for failure analysis, and Lewis Riddick's admission that coaches ignore better players all point to the same conclusion. The NFL's development process is a carefully constructed illusion designed to validate existing hierarchies and protect institutional credibility. The real question isn't whether Shedeur Sanders can succeed in the NFL. He already proved that. The real question is how many other talented players have been systematically suppressed by a system that prioritizes control over competition. And now that one rookie has broken through the barriers, how long can the league maintain the fiction that their evaluation process actually works? What do you think? Is the NFL's meritocracy real, or is Shedeur Sanders just the first player to accidentally expose how broken the system really is? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the stories the league doesn't want you to understand.